Hello, welcome back to the channel. So this may or may not be the most chaotic perfume review I ever do. I've tried to film this video once already and it was a hot mess. So today I'm going to be talking about Snow Fairy from Lush. Now this fragrance, I just did a review on Moschino Toy 2 bubblegum. Very similar vibe in the sense that it is very reminiscent for me of a very particular time in my life where I was Lush obsessed for like 2 years, to the point where literally the closest Lush store to me was and still is 2 hours from my house, and the Lush employees at said location 2 hours away from me knew me like on like a hey, you're back kind of a situation. And I was like, it got to a point where I was like, yeah, I should probably stop going for a while, and it's been 3 years, so I'm doing okay. Anyways, this is a very sweet, caramely, vanilla cotton candy fragrance. It is very sweet, but it is marketed as a citrus gourmand fragrance, which is an interesting thing that I learned during my research of this fragrance for this said video. Anyways, so this does have a powdery element to it too. I have noticed that as I've gotten older, I do have a thing for just gourmand in general, but especially gourmand fragrances that have a powdery element to them. There is something about the powdery element, especially in this fragrance, that I feel like really gives this fragrance an edge from just being like an, oh, you're wearing a really sweet fragrance, to like, oh, this is a sweet fragrance, but it can hold its own. So I think that's like the powderiness of some perfumes for me just really does it. There are powdery perfumes that I will tell you to run from the hills from because they're just not it. But this one does hold up. So this one, again, has just that really nice, really strong first projection of cotton candy, of being really sweet. So if you think of being at a state fair, of grabbing your cotton candy at the machine while you're smelling a caramel corn in the air, this fragrance is that kind of core memory encapsulated into a bottle, which I really love that. Now, I didn't go to like state fairs as a kid really ever growing up, but I do love caramel corn, and I do love the smell of people making caramel corn cotton candy too. But I did used to live in Chicago, so maybe it's a Garrett's popcorn thing that I'm thinking of, but this one just really brings back that core just memory of smelling caramel corn walking through the middle of Chicago. So I love that about this. I love that it can do that for me, but it is marketed as a fragrance for women and men. This might just be a me thing, but I cannot picture my straight as a board 6'2" little brother wearing this. Like, just, he might, just if he was forced to by me because I'm the older sibling and he has to listen to me. But like, I can't imagine. No, there's no way, unless his hands were tied, he lost a bet. But it is marketed as kind of a more unisex fragrance. It was launched in 2018. And it doesn't say who the perfumer was behind this, but it's probably a lady, and I like her a lot because this is one of my favorite perfumes. So this one is cotton candy based. It is very sweet. It has elements of cherry, vanilla, and pear. Now this one, initially the projection is very strongly and almost overwhelmingly sweet. I say almost overwhelmingly because I do just have a soft spot in my heart for this fragrance. So for some people, this might be like overbearingly sweet, just as a fair warning. If you have smelled Snow Fairy from Lush and love it, that will come to no surprise to you. I'm gonna spray this down here so it doesn't. Yeah, but like very overwhelmingly cotton candy. It does initially give the projection of being a little bit powdery, which again I like because again, I just think it gives it a little bit of an edge. This does have, yeah, now that I'm really like thinking about it and letting it sit in, you do get the cherry initially as well, which is interesting and something that I hadn't ever really noticed before. Hello. But the cherry element is very nice. If you have smelled Lost Cherry by Tom Ford, it kind of gives a little bit younger demographic age-wise than Lost Cherry, but just like a subtle cherry that might be a little bit more appealing to people than Lost Cherry. If you kind of smelled Lost Cherry, liked it, but didn't necessarily A, want to spend the money, or B, really know how cherry was going to develop on you as a skin, I think this is a safe bet to kind of see how a element of cherry in a fragrance would smell on you, because this isn't crazy expensive. So I think, again, it's like the cherry in this really does add a little bit of the element to this versus just like the, oh, you're wearing a really sweet fragrance. This is like, that's kind of interesting. What are you wearing? So I think this one, the cherry in this is actually like very, very nice now that I'm paying attention to it, now that I haven't ever smelled this fragrance before. But yeah, it's nice. And I think it is an element of cherry that isn't super overwhelmingly cherry. So if you are interested in cherry scents, this is definitely an interesting one to try. This one does have the vanilla element to it and a little bit of the pear. I would say I get a little bit more of the vanilla during the kind of 4 to 5 hour mark of this one. Now I would say this one, because it is a body spray, doesn't have as long of a wear time as a traditional eau de parfum or eau de toilette. I would say this one is a good, you know, kind of 5 or 6 hour. If you're going to like a fun event, this is one I would throw on. If you're going out and about, just going to run errands really quick and come home, this is definitely one that I would wear just like going out. I would layer this with a Fleur like heavy cream, just so you do get a little bit more of an element of like a sophisticated sweet versus just like overwhelmingly straight sweet. You can pair this with any other kind of gourmand fragrance. I just use vanilla heavy cream, Fleur's heavy cream, or vanilla skin also by Fleur as kind of comparable pairings, because that's what I pair it with most often. Again, just to add that little bit of sophistication to it, where if you did want to wear this to work or on like a date night, full night out, I would pair it with something that would give it just a tad more, because this, as amazing as this fragrance is, as much as I love this fragrance, for me to wear this as a standalone fragrance, again, this is one like I would wear on a fun night out, maybe a date night, something like that. Not one that I'm wearing every day, not one that I'm wearing on a regular basis, but definitely a fun one to add to your collection if you are looking for something a little bit more fun and not something that everybody might have. A lot of people do know about this, but it's not in everybody's collection. So definitely an interesting element to add to your collection if you, again, just looking for a fun fragrance that might be good for like a holiday party or a fun going out night. So that is all I have for you in this video. I told you this video was going to be chaotic from the start, so don't tell me I lied to you, because that felt like the most chaotic thing I've ever filmed. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one soon.